everybody, to the premiere episode of Life After Lights. Today, our guest speaker is Travis Denker. Travis Denker played professional baseball for the San Francisco Giants, was in one of the most historical trades between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the San Francisco Giants. Travis Denker, welcome to the show, man. How you doing tonight?
What's up, Tyler? I'm good, man. I'm good. It's good to be on the show. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, I'm sorry?
It's been a long time since I saw you in person, so it's good.
Yeah, it's only been 20 years. Not a big deal.
Yeah. Right.
So, but no, me and Travis, a little background on us. We played baseball together at high school at Brea Linda High School. I graduated in the year 2002. Travis graduated in the year 2003, where he was drafted by the Dodgers in the 21st round overall. So, Travis, we're going to go into some questions here for you. How long did you play baseball for? Also, for your high school career, your pro career, how long did you last playing baseball? And just tell us a little bit about your background. Tell us a little about your story playing baseball.
Yeah. So kind of it goes back before baseball. I'm actually a skateboarder for Vans. So I was on the Vans tennis shoot when I was like real little, till I was about like maybe 8 or 9, 10 maybe or something like that. Can't even remember that far back, but anyway, so I was on the little Pee Wee team then, and then I started playing baseball, and so kind of played. I played a little league, whatever, and then ended up meeting a person named by the name of Rudy Lara. He kind of introduced me to travel baseball, and then that was in Cyprus, and then just playing ball. I tried out on a team by him just playing pepper, and I don't know if kids even play pepper anymore. You just throw a ball and they hit it back to you and you catch it. And then he's like, yeah, like I guess you could tell. Now I understand as a coach, you can tell if the kid can like move and catch and whatnot, and his actions and stuff. So anyway, so play with him, and then we went to Florida pretty much, and then just started learning baseball the correct way. And so I played travel ball, all the way throughout my high school career. So played through high school, and then I played pony. I played every league you could imagine, all the travel leagues. I played high school and just year round. And then then I got into pro ball as I got drafted, like you mentioned. I was drafted in the 21st round in 2003. I actually signed to go to Hawaii, University of Hawaii, out of high school, and I didn't go. And it's funny because secretly I wanted to go, but then secretly I didn't want to go. I was like, man, I don't know if I can be on those flights all the time. And now I realize I hate flying. So that's probably was the best thing for me at the time. But anyways, I didn't go. And then I went to Vero Beach, Florida, and just started my career with the Dodgers. And I played for 15 years. And then now this is my 4th or 5th year coaching. I can't even remember. It's either 17. So 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah. So yeah, this is going to be my 5th year coaching.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And then, so as you're playing through your career, as if I did my math right, it sounds like about 11 years or so.
What's that?
My math for your playing career for pros was 11 years, if I did that correctly.
Pro ball, yeah. So I played independent ball and I got signed back, so it was like 15.
Okay.
Yeah, it kind of extended. Probably when you see it online, it's more 11 or 12. But I jumped around for a few years in independent ball. I don't know if you count that or whatever, and I do. And then because my body counted it, felt it. So, and I ended up playing in Mexico too, Indie ball, and then came back and ended up signing. My last 2 years were in AA with the Diamondbacks, and that's where I finished my career. My last 2 years.
Oh, right on.
Team, yeah.
Right on. So as you're playing through your pro ball career, what are some of your highs that you had, and what are some of the lows that you had when you're playing 15 years for pro ball? Because that's a long time for anybody to play a certain sport.
Man, it's funny because I always tell my players, don't let your highs get too high and your lows get too low. It was a quote from Jeff Kent. And I actually love that quote, but I think it might have hurt my career because I wasn't very an energetic baseball player like they are now. They're like all, they're crazy and they got, they're all showmen and all this stuff. And back then it was like just hit a double because that's what you're supposed to do, and you run around the bases and it's kind of boring, Anyway, my highs, I had a few highs, but I remember this. This is kind of really cool. I had in the South Atlantic League, I want to say in 2005, I hit 3 home runs twice within 2 weeks apart of each other or something like that. So like I hit, like Monday rolls around, I hit 3 home runs, and the next week rolls around, I hit like another 3. And it was just pretty cool. So I hit one I always wanted to do. I hit one to like right field, left field, and then like left center, and then so it was cool. It was like, you guys can't throw me anywhere, kind of thing. And I always wanted to do that. It's like, there's no holes in my swing, even though there were, but
that's awesome. Yeah, you got the trifecta that night. You're feeling really, really good that night.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I would say, and there's been some lows. I remember, there's some injuries. I had staph infection. I got staph infection. Like a bunch of our people on our team had staph infection. I remember the doctor being like, "Hey, you're lucky you came in. You could have lost your leg." I had it in my leg. I slid into second base, and I got infected, and they were like, I don't know. I had 2, Glenn Bott and Chin Lung Hu. Actually, I was like holding on to them. I couldn't really walk, and they got me in the hospital, and they did surgery on my knee, pretty much right there.
Wow.
It was getting deep. Yeah, I could have lost my leg, and so that was pretty crazy. I didn't know it was that serious. I knew it hurt really bad.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it was that bad, but I would say, and then I guess another one of my lows was like I ended up, it was a low, but later it turned out to be a high. But I ended up in Mexico, man. Like, you just never think you're going to end up in Mexico summer league. It's like that show Eastbound, and when he goes down to Mexico and he's playing down there and stuff. That's exactly how I felt. But so I could really relate to that. But it ended up being awesome. I met some great people. I'd say the conditions are tough. Like, you're used to like showering, right? And like I would always shower before the game, get ready after we work out and stuff. I'm a big showerer because I did get staph infection. So I'm always trying to be clean. Even to this day, I shower like 3 times a day if I can. And I don't know if that's good, but I do. And anyway, but yeah, just the kind of the stuff we take for granted in the States, just being able to shower over there, you're like drying off with a t-shirt. It's a grind. There's no food, they're not like letting out food. You're eating at like, 12:30, and you're eating like who knows what on the side of the road on some border town. Like I played in Reynosa and Laredo, Texas. So it's like right on the border. I remember crossing over we're crossing each other over and getting over. It was pretty tough. So those were some tough, exciting times. I don't know if you'd say like lows. Definitely exciting, gunshots and the whole 9. But
yeah, I think we could say interesting.
Definitely interesting. Yeah, for sure.
So,
yeah.
And then, so the next question I'm going to ask you is, how did playing sports mold you into the person you are today, Travis?
Yeah, baseball and sports in general, they help you to work as a team. And I think even today, like, you can kind of see, no matter what you're working on, you need to have, you can't do it yourself. You just can't. There's, depending on what you're doing, but for the most part, like in corporate America, I'm a hitting coach. So I work with a hitting department. I work with a player development department. So we're constantly, I don't know every single thing about all of our players. Like, I have to learn from the guys who had them before, all these different things. So I got to gather that information. I got to know what I'm dealing with, and my pride and all that stuff has to be laid aside, and I have to be able to like work with my team. So if I think, no, I'm not going to work with anybody, I'm going to get all the credit, I'm probably not going to learn anything, and I'm going to be limited. So I would say baseball, man, has taught me how to be, for one, it teaches you how to be a leader too, and lead in it, not in a dictatorship way, but lead in a way where like you can kind of see the whole picture and then get to that goal quicker and try to get everybody on board in a sense. And so that we can achieve our goal, you know? So, and then just learning how to fail too, I'd say. Baseball is like such a game. And I deal with this with my kids all the time, my daughter and my son, and they'll be like, oh, I did this wrong or whatever. And I'm like, and I'd tell them, look, well, you're good in baseball if you mess up, 7 out of 10 times, and it's like, what? Wait, you're failing 7 out of 10 times? Yeah, I am. And that's not good. Like, I know it's not, but you learn how to kind of either change your definition of failure, or you end up like, you just end up trying to just stay, like we talked about, not letting your highs get too high and your lows get too low. You just kind of ride those things out and just keep plugging away and know that something good's going to come out of it in the end,
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great thing to say. And, just like you said, corporate America, everything's a team effort now. Baseball's the same thing, team effort. You got all the coaches, whether it's a pitching, hitting, assistant, third base coach, first base coach, manager, everything in between. I mean, you can even go to the front office, all the guys working in the office, the GM, the assistant GM, the owner, all that stuff. It takes a group effort. And that's why it's so sweet when you win something or you get awards or you achieve everything individually and as a team too, as well.
No doubt. You have to learn how to be a good team player. And that's what they call, it's funny. That's what they call us. We're team players. It's like, you're a team player, and what skills you bring might be unique, to the next person, which they should be, because you don't want all the same people. You want different people who have different skills. For me in our hitting department, just for example, we have some really smart people that are like really good they can make an app for you. They'll code for you right there. So I'll be like, yeah, I want to see some launch angle for this guy and, for this week and whatever. And he's like, yeah, okay, it's on the app. Like, I made an app. And I'm like, so now I go on and I have an app and I'll look at it and I'll be like, okay, sweet. This is great. And it's genius. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I make that thing. Like, I don't have time for that right now. I got to watch hitters and make sure I'm creating those relationships. You know what I mean? Yep. So for me, my biggest goal is to try to be relational. And that's what I think baseball has taught me as well, is being relational. Mm-hmm. And so trying to create those relationships is the best way to go. If you can create a good relationship, a good foundation, and you build that trust, like hitters, especially in the hitting world, I know you, Tyler, when you played, it was you and your dad. There's nobody else telling anything to you unless it was you and your dad, right? There's nobody. The same thing, like with me, I had Rudy, my dad, and that was it. And if a coach came up to me and told me something, I was like, I'm not going to let them in my circle. It's going to be really tough. So for me as a hitting coach, I deal with that all day. I have the dad of the player, then I have their guru, I have their college coach and their high school. It's like, I got to compete with these people that have known them forever. Yep. And so if I can just be authentic and be like, look, I'm here to give you another set of eyes. I'm here to serve you, I don't want your credit. I want you to get to my level and leave. That's my job. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so if we keep it there, it works. But anyway.
Well, in my defense, I'm ultra stubborn. So that really worked really well, especially when you're 18, you think you know it all. That worked really well. So,
yeah, no doubt.
But do you miss playing the game, Travis? And then do you have any long-lasting friendships from playing baseball over all your years?
Man, so it was really weird. It's like after I got done playing, I was very done. Like I was really like, I walked away from the game like happy. I don't, you meet these people that have like all these regrets, and then they're mad at the game, and then like the game, kind of, messed them up or whatever. And, so for me, I was good with just walking away, but I would get like this weird, almost depression in a sense where I don't know where to like put it's like I have to try to work out or something, but I can't because my body hurts so bad. It's like, what do you do to like, you're used to competing every day, like all the time. And then now you don't. So how do you compete? What do you compete with? It's like it's a weird thing. There's like this void of like what you can do. And it's mainly like a physical, I think a chemical thing that goes on in a sense, where there's something like missing in a way. I think I'm just missing the competitiveness. I mean, I was used to getting that dose of adrenaline, 4 or 5 times in a day, and looking forward to that high in a sense. And it kind of can be depressing when we don't get that, and so, so I kind of struggled with that in the beginning. But now, like, it's cool. And sometimes you kind of go, oh, but I don't miss because my body hurts so bad, like everywhere on my body. Like, I mean, my neck, my back, my hip, I got headaches, like, from getting hit. My elbow hurts, shoulder, the whole thing. It's like my whole body is destroyed. And I mean, I carry this. I have this guy, right? Like, like, I'm sitting on this, and so, like, I have massagers and stuff just to try to get through, and I stretch all day. So my body does not, I know that I just can't do it, but,
No.
but, I guess I miss that, that competitive, that adrenaline, facing that guy being like, I got you, I love that. That competitiveness is just you walk up to him and, like, I'm going to beat you today. Cause it's one thing when you're a young kid and you, like, have no idea what you're doing. Like, you play and you're like, you don't really know how you're getting hits or, like, hitting the ball. But later you learn the game to where, like, how to hit. So, like, how to get hits in a sense. So, like, there's certain things that you kind of have to do. So you're just playing like a cat and mouse game in a sense. They're not getting you out anymore because you're being stubborn and yourself, your swing, the scouting report, everything. And it's just a matter of execution. That's the cool part, is that chess. Like, man, he didn't do what I thought he was going to do, and then so the game even takes it to a cooler level.
All right, Travis. Yeah. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to incorporate the question. So do you have any long-lasting friendships from playing? And also, do you have a favorite teammate of all time and any good stories to tell?
Yeah. So I have a couple of really good friends that some of the fondest memories. I was playing in Vero Beach, and we would go fishing down in Fort Pierce. And so I would go fishing with a guy named James McDonald, a guy named David Pfeiffer. David Pfeiffer lived, like, right on. Pretty much you could take an inlet, like a boat, to the ocean if you wanted from his house. So it was pretty cool setup, man. We'd sit there and fish all night, and his mom would always cook us food and stuff. So during spring training and instructional league and stuff, we would go over there, and we didn't even stay at Dogtown and feel like we were always at their house. So breaking curfew and stuff and just staying there. But anyway, but yeah, James is one of my favorites, and same thing with David. Good friends. Stories. I mean, we caught a shark before. I know one time, we were at Fort Pierce Beach, and I saw a kid had a surfboard, and we wanted to get the leader. We had got a stake. We caught a jack, and we cut up this jack fish. And we got a stick, pretty thick one, and stuck it on this big hook. And I stuck the leader in my mouth, and I paddled out as far as I could, pretty much, and then dropped off the stake. And we ended up catching I couldn't remember, it was either black tip or white tip reef shark, but a pretty big one. And but so it was cool. I mean, that was something we would do. I can't think of any too many stories, but just mainly bus rides, man. There's like 1,000. I feel like every birthday since I signed at 17, I was like in the back of a bus driving to a different city, like on my birthday every year. So it felt like, I think I got like two birthdays that weren't on a bus. It was like one in Rhode Island, and my wife, she was my girlfriend at the time, she threw a birthday party for me when I was playing in Inland Empire. But other than that, yeah, man, these people, I mean, there's a ton of baseball people that live here in Arizona. And so, but actually a guy I played with, Cale Garrison, he's a pastor at a church down the street from us. So kind of keep in touch with him and stuff. But
that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And then, so what we're going to talk about is also like how you were set up for life after sports too, as well. Because after you're done, there is a life. You do have a lot more years to live. So the next thing I want to ask you, Travis, is while you were playing, at all, did you start thinking about life after sports? Did you have a game plan at all, or were you just kind of doing it by just kind of whatever happened, or what all happened with that?
Yeah, so I at first in the beginning I fell in not necessarily, I guess I fell into the trap of like I'll always go to college like after I'm done, and I don't know if I think early on I think I had a like, okay, if I don't make it to the big leagues by this time, like I'm gonna quit, go back to school. And it just kind of didn't happen. Like I'd have a good year, and then like I'd get close or something, and something would happen, and then somebody would tell me like, "Hey, we want you to get back there," and I'd be okay. So I'd try really hard, and just kind of got sucked into that cycle in a sense, and then barely maybe get an opportunity at the end or whatever. But like I was always good enough to make it. It just I don't know. And then so I always thought that in the beginning, that's not gonna matter. I make a ton of money, and I won't need to work or whatever like that. And so that was kind of my thoughts in the beginning, I guess, if I'm being honest. And then at the end, I started thinking about before I finished, I wanted to go to school after, and then I wanted to be a coach. And then we started having kids, and I ended up playing. I remember my last 5 years were we call them like this is my like every year of my last 5 years was my last year. So I had 5 last years. So this is my last year. Okay, this one's my last year. Okay, this is my last year. And then like we just kept playing, and there's opportunities came up, and I was coaching at home, and I was coaching at Brea at our high school. I ended up coaching at El Dorado and stuff like that. And so I ended up coaching the freshman team at Brea, and then having to leave, I don't know, like 2 months into the season, and then kind of having to leave midway and go play. I didn't know I was going to play. I thought I was done. It's funny. Every year I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm coming home. I don't know if I'm going to play. And then sure enough, like November, December, whatever, January would come around, and I'd get like a contract thrown my way. And I'd be like, I guess we're going, so yeah.
I mean, that's one way of doing your last year for 5 years in a row.
Yeah, that was the thing. Like I had my son was 4 years old when I retired. So he got to see those, and mainly it was like we were good. I didn't ever want baseball to like ever slow me down from like enjoying my life. Like I wanted a family. I wanted I wanted a wife. I wanted kids. And I met my wife, and she did the baseball pro thing. We did it together for like, it was like we did it 5 years, and then we were married for 5. So she did it for 11 years of the 15. So
that's a very good wife.
She grinded it out. She's awesome. So it's crazy.
Well, that's pretty awesome, man. So knowing what you know now, being outside of baseball, being retired, would you have done anything differently? And do you have any regrets when you were younger, looking at it from the perspective you're looking at it right now?
Yeah. Regrets are like, there was some stuff that came up. I'll be honest, like I love the night scene. I love to go and have fun at night. Baseball is kind of like one of those things where every night's Friday in a sense. You can it's Friday night everywhere, and there's always an excuse to go have a good time. And so for me, there was always like influence that way, and I always kind of fell trapped to some of those nights, and yeah, so kind of fell into that trap for a while, and I wouldn't say for forever. It's kind of like at the very end, but yeah, I would say that taking care of your body, stretching, like because how my body hurts so bad now. And it's not like I didn't start rolling out. I didn't really realize what rolling out was till like the last 3 years of my career. Like nobody was doing it until it like came up, that was like kind of a later thing. Like, what is this rolling out thing? And so I'm like learning how to roll out, and And so I wish I'd have done that. So if I were to tell a kid, hey, make sure you take care of your body. Another thing too, that I just struggled with, is eating. I went through this thing with my stomach and I couldn't hold anything down and everything was burning and all. It's just crazy for months. And I lost like a bunch of weight, but I would say, invest, or like, I wish I would have had a nutritionist, or I would have taken those nutritionists, for, I would have used them. And I always had a trainer. I always did that, but it was like, I would eat whatever not whatever I wanted, but I would eat, but I would like, all right, I'm just going to work out. And really, it's so much better than that if you eat better foods. But it's, again, in a sense, it was kind of impossible because it's so expensive to eat good food. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
like you're in a minor league budget, you get done at midnight. So you have to eat McDonald's or you're not going to eat, So it's like for 10 years, we lived that way, just trying to survive. And then they didn't give us food after too. So like we would, now they give all the guys food, and there's always a spread. But before that, when I was there, it was like, you're on your own. You would have maybe a peanut butter and jelly for the first 10 years of my career. And then, maybe a ham or turkey sandwich, possibly, and some Cheetos or something like that. And you'd go, like, these are pro athletes that are going to the big leagues. Like, we were eating terrible.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the game, I'd be like, all right, see you later. And then we'd be like in Lancaster, California. And only thing, and if anybody's ever been in that field, in left field, there's like a Jack in the Box. I played in almost over 1,000, I had like 1,100 at bats in the Cal League. So we went to Lancaster like a lot. And I remember this Jack in the Box, like eating Jack in the Box. I'm like, we're professional athletes. These guys have abs, and we're eating Jack in the Box. Like, what is going on? And so it's just kind of like, that's kind of one of my biggest regrets. Second, last one, and I told this to my players, was that I wish I'd have got to know my teammates. I wish I would have invested in like having conversations with my teammates, because it would have been more of it would have been beyond me. Like, and baseball for a long time, it's so selfish. It's such an I kind of mentality that, like, you don't even, when you're doing your best, you're trying to help your team win. When you're at your best, you don't even think about yourself. You just think about competing, think about trying to win, and think about helping your teammates win. That's it. But how can you help your teammates, and how can you really want to win if you don't know them? And what I learned, and what I try to strive with all my players, like, we need to know each other. Once we know each other, once I get to know you, once you get to know me, then I can truly love you, and I can truly like get your back in this fight. And so when it comes to the coaches, and so we've just kind of, the teams that I've been on, we've kind of just, hey, like, let's make sure. And I've been fortunate enough to be with Sean Roof as my manager the last couple of years. Hey, like, let's try to get the guys together, and the Diamondbacks are big on family, so they're great team building organization. But knowing the players that's where it's all about. If I can know these guys and know where they come from. Like, we had a player, dude from Cuba. His grandma was dying, and none of his family has any food or like whatever. So he makes this little money in high A. I'm trying to get him to make an adjustment, to trust me enough to make an adjustment. And he's talking about real life stuff over there, trying to put food on a table for his grandma and his family. His grandma's dying, and he can't even go see her. And she like raised him. And so we're hearing about this, and we're like, what do we do? And the team wants to back him up. Like just send this guy back so he can go see his grandparents. And so the game is just, when you get into these situations, bigger than a game, man. This game is, it's fun and whatever, but man, you learn these people, you learn about these people and their backgrounds and stuff that they're going through. And I'm like, hey, I want you to try to do this. Like I said, it's really hard for them to trust somebody and make an adjustment when they're trying to survive. These guys are trying to survive. They got to hit 100 miles an hour, and I want them to make a little adjustment when they're not used to it. And he's like, I got to support my family in Cuba, right? They're not even free down there. You know, they're standing in line in gas stations or whatever. So it's like,
Yeah.
So you kind of, that's another thing, you know, that I regret is like not just too much focus on myself when I played at a younger age. Later, so my last 5 years when they were like my last, I started to be able to really get to know my teammates. I wanted to, in a sense. So it was going up to the field, not just a grind to have the play. And yeah, it was tough and it hurt and everything, but it was a joy to be like, man, who am I going to get to talk to, and what kind of impact, like, are they going to have on me? What kind of impact am I going to have on them?
Yeah, that's a really cool way of looking at it. You know, just being able to talk to your teammates every single day. I know, God, when we were in high school, I don't know if this still counts, but I remember me and you hanging out like 3 or 4 days a week. We hung out all the time. Me, you, it was always Votan. I'm missing somebody. I know I'm missing one person. I'm
probably
sorry.
Joey.
Yeah, Joey. Yeah, Joey. Like,
we went to your work.
Yeah, all the time. That's how I got free food.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we would go. Yeah.
Yeah, go after practice. Where you guys going? Tyler's work. Got free food. Let's roll.
That's right. We're gonna crush it.
That's right.
Yeah, pasta every chicken. Well, I forgot what I used to get, man. I used to love that place.
The chicken Alfredo.
Oh, yep. The chicken with the white sauce for sure.
Yep. Or the lasagna, whatever they had. Man, we just ate it all. It was awesome. Well, it's gonna, you know, it's either gonna be throwing away or eating. We'll take care of it.
We'll crush it. Yeah.
We'll make sure those trash cans are empty at the end of the night.
No doubt.
So, all right, that's awesome, man. So we kind of already went over this a little bit, but did you know when it was going to be your last game? You kind of went over a little bit, saying like your last 5 years, it was like your last year. So that, I know that's a little tough, but did you really know at the end of the 5th year, was that really your last game? And did you have like any kind of emotions? Were you kind of sad? Were you happy? Did you feel like you could close the chapter on that book? You know, how did all that come to fruition to you?
So you asked me about my highs. This story that I'm about to tell you is probably the coolest high. And I not that I forgot, but I knew this question was kind of coming up, so I was kind of saving it. But yeah, so I would say my last year I got hurt. I had a strained oblique. I had tendonitis in my elbow. I'm on the DL bouncing back and forth. Like I can't even throw, but they need a hitter because they can't send a player. So like I'm playing. I mean, I'm check swinging and I'm crying, right? Like I'm like in pain the whole year. I'm like, this stinks, man. And I just remember talking to my wife and being like, babe, I'm done, you know? And she was like, are you sure? And I'm like, I'm done. I don't want another year. I can't have another year. We can't do another year. I can't go through this again. And she's like, all right, so are you sure? So yeah. And so that was probably 2 months before the season ended. I called Mike Bell, who just passed away last spring training, stomach cancer. And so I called, it's Buddy Bell's son, Jay Bell's brother, right? And so like the twins were all there and the Reds and everybody were at the thing. But it was anyway. So, I called Mike and I'm like, and Mike hired me. He signed me as a player and then he hired me as a coach. So this guy's like a big time mentor, one of the best leaders like I've ever been around, like by far, like unbelievable. Everybody loves him. Nobody speaks bad about him. He's an amazing dude. Anyway, so I call Mike. Hey, Mike, I'm thinking about retiring. This is going to be my last year. And he goes, all right, man, are you sure? I said, yeah. He goes, I'd really like you to play again. And I'm like, and mind you, like I was kind of like always wondering, oh man, do coaches want me to play? Like, do these guys want me to play? Sign? This guy was like, no, like I want you to play next year. I'm like, no, I don't want to play. And he's like, why not? Like, just keep playing. And I was like, no, I don't want to play. And they liked my role. I was actually enjoying being like a coach in a sense. Like I started like not worrying about my at bats and stuff. And I like help with. I'd be talking to like Kevin Crone and Jamie Westbrook or these younger players, and I'd be like, hey, why don't you guys set this guy up doing this or whatever? And they'd hit a home run, and they come around, and, I could just see the light bulbs come off on them. And I was like, this is really cool. Like being a coach, like teaching these guys how to hit, or like at least helping them kind of get to what they're looking for. And so it was really cool. Like that lit me up. And so I knew kind of that at that time, like, hey, I want to be a coach. Like I want to be a hitting coach and maybe a manager too. And so anyway, so Michael was like, all right, well, I don't know. I'll have to let you know. And in baseball and like hiring people, it's really weird. Like there was one spot, there was an English speaking spot and there was a Spanish speaking spot for the whole organization. And like, I didn't know because some people leave, but like only one person left for the English speaking spot. So there's one spot left. So they interviewed people and whatever. And then like, turns out like I ended up in the job. But before that, so I knew 2 months before this last at bat that's coming around. So like, I know the season's about to roll up to an end and I'm banged up. And it was like I was pinch hitting a ton. I still had a lot of ABs that year. I had probably one of the best years of my life though, Tyler, by the way. Like I'm pinch hitting and I'm still hitting 300. Like I'm hitting 300, I'm hitting homers. Like I had like over, I don't know how many home runs I had, but I had enough homers for a pinch hitter that was like pretty good, I'm hitting homers in the ninth and it was great, man. Setting up guys, like I'm talking to the guys on the bench, like this is what I'm gonna go do. I go out do it and hit a home run and come back in and be like, told you, and kind of stuff like that. And so, but anyway, the last game comes rolling around. I'm in the starting lineup. Kevin Crone's, because I played first, second, and third, and so I'm gonna play first this game. Kevin Crone was like hitting 300, so they didn't let him play. So like he's gonna sit on his numbers for like one day. And so I'm playing for J.R. House. He's the third base coach for the Reds right now. And Joe Mather, who's the hitting coach for the Diamondbacks right now, is our first base coach. Doug Drabeck's our pitching coach at the time. And he was actually my pitching coach as a hitting coach last year in Amarillo. So Dougie Drabeck, Cy Young Award winner, awesome dude, great guy. So I'm playing first base, and the first at bat, I think I hit a double or a single. So the ball in like center, right center or something. I think I got a single. And I come up and hit a double, and then I don't know I think I popped up or something, or maybe walked. I don't remember. I'm feeling good. It's a day game. We're in Tennessee playing against the Smokies. So it's like the Cubs. I don't remember who I'm facing. The guy throws like cheese, throwing 98. It's a morning game because it's a getaway day. It's the last game of the season.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm playing first. And I remember being on deck, and I knew it was going to be my last at bat. And so I remember sitting on deck, and I'm like looking at my bat, and I just started praying. I just said to God, like, thank you. I just started thanking him. I said, thank you for just allowing me to have this whole career, and just to be able to play this game that you've given me, all the talent. I realized then I knew, but he was dragging me. He took the big leagues. He took me to the big leagues. Then he took me to Mexico. He was there with me the whole time, trying to reveal himself to me in a way that I could understand. And there wasn't this like fake, just, I know who this Jesus guy is now. I actually knew him. And anyway, so I'm praying, and I just said thank you. I said thank you so much. And I remember started crying. I walked up to a plate, and I'm like crying, like, this is not good, And as I'm walking up, and I said, and I just remember being like, but it'd be pretty sweet if you let me hit a homer right here. And so as I walk up, my last at bat, I don't think it's going to happen. So I walk up, and this guy, by the way, is like, he's nasty. He's 98 to 99. He's got a Snapdragon, and it's the morning, and I hate morning games. And I already have 2 knocks. So I'm thinking this is probably the thing I'm going to do today. And anyway, I'm looking out over the plate, and I just bought into my approach like normal. And I hit a ball, first pitch, 98 out over the plate, home run, like center, right center, ambushed him, first pitch. And I never swing at first pitch. So I set him up already. He didn't know that I was swinging at first pitch. And I just got a first pitch and got him in that round, and hit a homer, and like a no doubter to right center. And it was really cool, man. run all the bases, and everybody in the dugout is like crying. Then they're losing it because they knew that like it was my last at bat. They knew I was never going to play again. And they'd been with me the whole year. And so I'm running around the bases and I'm like, this is a trip. I get home and like my team's, they're like waiting for me, almost like a little league home run, right? They're like coming out to come meet me, and everybody's giving me a hug. So I'm getting hugs from everybody, no high fives, getting hugs. And I'm like, I'm not going on defense. There's no way. You're not about to ruin a moment like that and go out on defense and like botch a squib, Buckner this thing. You know what I mean? Like it's not happening. So like I'm out there. And it's like the 9th inning or 8th inning, but it's like the 8th inning. And, but Crony has to go out there and have an at bat. And so, but he's sitting 300. So like, if he doesn't get a hit, I think it's like 299 or something. And so, he ends up running upstairs to go put his spikes on. So he's ready to go play the last 2 innings or something. Possibly I could get another at bat too, which he ended up getting an at bat. So he ended up getting that bat and hitting a fly ball out. So he took the offer and then he ended up playing first. But it was funny. JR actually sent me out to first base. So I went out there to I'm throwing in between innings. And I'm like, is this guy really not going to come get me? I'm like throwing balls and catching them at first. And I'm like, he's not going to come get me. What is going on? I'm thinking, man, this guy hates me. Like, yeah, if I make an error, I'm going to be so mad at this guy. And anyway. So next thing I know, I see Crony come running out, and he gave me a hug, and I went back in and I watched the rest of the game. But that was a cool, man, surreal moment. I don't think some coaches have talked about it, but it's one of those things that like the game doesn't miss you, in a sense, like it doesn't miss you. It keeps going on, it doesn't stop. There's no parades, but I'll tell you what, between me and God in that moment, it was really probably the coolest ending, the coolest last pitch, the coolest last, at bat and moment. So.
Yeah, that's an awesome story. You literally could not have written that any better.
No.
So that's awesome, man. And that just shows you, man, that, being the man that you are, and you deserve the good ending. And that's exactly what you got, Travis. So that's pretty awesome, man. So now we're going to talk about the last topic here. We're going to talk about life after lights. So what is your life like now, Travis? Like, what are you doing now? I know you kind of briefly touched it a little bit, but what is your job now that you're not playing baseball anymore?
Yeah. So right now I work full-time as a hitting coach for the Diamondbacks. I'm in Double-A. I was in Amarillo last year. I'm going to go back there. They want me to go back there this year. So I'll be in Double-A again as a hitting coach. And then I have a family. I have a wife of 10 years. I have an 8-year-old son, a 5-year-old daughter. And so I'm a dad and a husband first. And then, what else? I mean, I have a little Travis Denker backyard baseball thing. I kind of started doing like a mentorship just for kids that are like kids and dads that like want to learn the swing. They want to learn just kind of like little tips, more little tips. I'm kind of like a coach to help the coaches, give little tips on the side. And so I have a little program people can go to and they can subscribe. So that's Travis Denker's Backyard Baseball, travisdenker.com pretty much. You can find it there and on Instagram too. And then actually I have a friend, we were talking about, you said friends and people that kind of have been around. I have a buddy named Todd Jennings. He was drafted by the Giants, and I met him. Remember when Buster Posey got like hurt with his knee? Okay,
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah. So Todd Jennings, that happened to him like the year before, 2 years before, and they were kind of like, this guy was I want to say second or third round, like a higher round guy, and he got hurt to his knee. Anyway, me and him became friends, and he played in Sugar Land in an independent ball team. So we played for Gary Gaetti together, and we just became buddies. And years ago, he invented this like catcher's mask. It's pretty cool. Like it deflects the ball. So basically less concussions, trying to keep people safe. But he designed it as a catcher, and kind of goes further. It's kind of like a hockey mask, but it's a two-piece. So he actually just ordered a bunch of them, and so they're going to be available coming up in the next couple months. So that's going to be called it's Jennings1.com. So that will be, it's called a H4. So anyway, so that's something to be looking out for. But yeah, so I've kind of just been helping him along the way with him with that, just like on the side. It's kind of cool, baseball, and then I basically I sing in the choir at church. I know that's kind of weird, not weird, but looking at me. Yeah, I play guitar and lead worship for my church. And what else? Yeah, man, life after lights, man. It's pretty cool, man. There's never a dull moment. I'll tell you that much. It's not boring. I'm like, I thought you would just sit there, and no, man, there's a lot to do. Yeah, man, tough to kind of work out right now. I'm kind of mixing, trying to do like little like tiny workouts with bands and little weights at the house, and then I ride my bike. So just for the back and stuff, just to try to stay in shape. But so competitiveness, it's mainly just that competitive isn't just against myself, I guess. I don't know right now. But yeah,
that's awesome.
Pretty much it.
That's awesome, man. Well, I appreciate that. And did you have any expectations or any idea what your life would be like after playing baseball?
No, I didn't. I really didn't. I didn't know. I had no idea. You just kind of, one of those things, you just go through it, and I always knew at the end that I wanted to help. I wanted to help these kids. I wanted to give people I wanted to give kids and their dads. I wanted that relationship. Me and my dad we had a great relationship. Don't get me wrong, but I can see where dads and sons just butt heads. It's just like, it's like this I don't know, man. They just clash, and the dad can't even enjoy the son and that moment of the kids playing. And so that's kind of what I like, is kind of being able to be there and help whoever. Like, I'll get a phone call from somebody like, hey, I'm thinking about going to this school or doing that. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then, talk to them about their approach and just certain things and what they're thinking. And the idea is to make those relationships with the dad and the son just like mesh, so that they can really enjoy their son and all that money they spent, the time and whatever. And it's just so hopefully to just relieve some anxiety, for the dad to just enjoy it, and the son to actually go out there and enjoy it and realize, okay, you guys are playing a game. And even if you do really, really good, the big man upstairs knows where actually you're going. You could literally lead leagues in homers and do whatever you think, and you might think you deserve a shot, but if he don't want you there, guess what? You're not going. So exactly. Do your best, right? Kind of commit the rest and do your thing, rather than stressing out like, oh man, did he like me? Like, I went 4 for 4, but did I, and then the next, that the dad, oh man, you made an error. And then the dad's mad, and so I don't like that. So that's kind of my passion in a sense too. And I try to do that with the pro guys, and try to have them enjoy pro ball rather than put more pressure on them. And I think they perform better. I know they perform better once you start relieving that pressure.
Absolutely.
Something that never leaves you since you're a little kid. You know what I mean? Like, and somebody, your mom, or they don't realize that they're putting pressure on you, and they throw this little dagger, and you're like, what? Like, I gotta get hit and pizza, and then and then ice cream, whatever, and then that just kind of builds till you get older. It never goes away. Conversation with Barry Zito and how much pressure he was putting on himself when he was going through that whole thing. I got called up to San Francisco, and he's there, and he's like, man, I feel like there's a lot of pressure. I'm like, well, there is a lot of pressure. Like, you just signed a $40 million deal, like a $150 million deal. Like, of course there's pressure. People want to be you right now. Like, you could either just embrace it and do your best, or you can, you can keep worrying about it. I don't know, kind of thing. And it's not that easy. I get it, but yeah. So anyway.
I remember that contract. I think it was 7 for 150, right? Or 7 for 140, somewhere right around there.
There's a lot. There's enough small village, so it's good.
Yeah, no, I remember that because I think at the time that was like the second or third highest contract ever, and the highest for the pitcher at that time, if I remember correctly. But I don't know if I'm remembering correctly, but I think I'm in the area code. So, but the last question we have is, how does your body feel? But you've pretty much answered that on the way with showing your heating pad and everything else. But yeah, we know you're pretty beat up from playing pro ball. We can definitely see that from everything that you were talking about earlier. But one thing I wanted to do, you said Travis Denker backyardbaseball.com, correct?
Yeah, there's travisdenker.com. Yeah, and then I guess it's Travis Denker Backyard Baseball. So either way, travisdenker.com. And yeah, and then on Instagram, I'm Travis Denker's Backyard Baseball over there too as well. So people can kind of get a hold of me. Yeah, man. People are, I'm trying to get the, I made it a while ago. I made those videos, and sometimes I'll add on videos, but I'm trying to see where I want to go. I want it more to be like more mentoring, coaching. So I don't want to like basically come in between a hitting coach or like a coach. I want to come alongside them and like add value to that coach or that dad that like is like, I don't know what the swing should look like, like get your elbow up and swing up or swing down or whatever. Like I kind of want to just give them truths, so that they can kind of see it and go, okay, that's what it should look like. So it's an educational thing there. I have a lot of my secrets are in there. It's priceless. And then it's really cheap. So it's like, I wanted it to get cheap I wanted it to be cheap because I wanted a kid, if they really wanted it, to go and mow a lawn and for like one lawn a month to be able to afford this thing kind of thing. And, but I couldn't get it out for free because it's got to pay it, but either way. But yeah, that, and then, yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's so cool you're doing that. Yeah. I mean, mowing a lawn is what now? Probably like what, $40 for a kid with the way the prices are going down these days?
Oh yeah. I actually need to probably jack up my prices because it's too.
Well, these kids better hurry up and get on Travis Denker backyardbaseball.com. They better hurry up on that. So
yeah, right.
But awesome, man. So Travis, thank you so much for your time, man. We appreciate your story. I hope everybody that's watching this, I hope you got something out of it. This is to help people tell stories and also to help people who are in sports, who are out of sports, and who are just who are having a tough time trying to figure out what to do after they're done playing. So this is Life After Lights. This is the premiere episode. I want to thank you. I want to thank Travis Denker so much for being on here, man. You're an awesome guest. Love the stories. Love rehashing some memories with you. Good old Pasta Bravo, which I don't think exists anymore.
That's right.
So yeah, but that was really cool. But check us out, Life After Lights. Please, everybody, like, subscribe, share, add. Travis, man, please just tell everybody about this. Let all your teammates, let all the guys you're working with now see this. So just a really cool way to see athletes in a different light. So really cool project we're gonna do. So, and also check out Travis's website, Travis Denker backyardbaseball.com. Check him out, get some videos, pay a small fee, and get yourself better. So that's what it's all about. Get yourself to that next level. This is the man that'll definitely help you with that. So, all right. Well, I am Tyler Greer. This is Travis Denker. Thank you for checking us out. And I will see you with episode 2 very soon. Thank you very much. Thanks, Travis.
All right.